There's something I've been meaning to do for a while now. Something simple. And still I keep putting it off. Not because I don't want to do it, but because every time I think about it, something in me hesitates. I just need a little more time, a little more clarity, a better way to do it, as if waiting will somehow make it easier. But if I'm honest, it's not really about time. I've noticed there are moments in life where you want something so much that you don't hesitate at all. You don't overthink, you don't question yourself, and you don't wait until you feel ready. You just move. You take risks, you find a way, you make it happen, even if it's inconvenient, even if it has consequences. And you've done that before. We all have. I've had moments like that too, where I didn't hesitate at all. And in those moments, something feels different. There's a kind of certainty, a kind of quiet boldness. Not loud or forced, but steady. And in those moments, you don't feel insecure. But then, there are other moments that should be simple, and suddenly you hesitate, you overthink, you question everything. You feel unsure, unprepared, as if something is missing. And the strange thing is, it's still you, the same person, with the same abilities, living the same life. So what changed? It's not your capability, it's not your potential, and it's not even a situation. And it took me a while to see this. What changed is what you believe the moment depends on. Somewhere along the way, without even noticing it, we learned something, a quiet idea that settled in slowly, that everything depends on us, on how prepared we are, on how capable we are, on how well we perform. And the moment you believe that, everything becomes heavier, because now every step feels like a test. Every decision feels like a risk, and every outcome feels like it's on you. And that is where insecurity begins. Because if everything depends on you, then of course you will hesitate. Of course you'll doubt. Of course you will feel uncertain. But think about those other moments, the ones where you moved without hesitation, the ones where you just went for it. You didn't feel ready. You didn't have everything figured out, and still you moved. And if you look back honestly, there are moments you can't fully explain. Moments where you showed up, spoke, acted, moved forward, and afterwards you wondered, how did I even do that? Where did that come from? Because you didn't feel enough, and still it happened. But we don't talk about those moments like that. We call them luck, coincidence, good timing, and without realizing it, we erase what was really there. Because the moment you call it coincidence, you make it random. You make it accidental. You make it something that just happened, and suddenly you are on your own again. And that is where insecurity grows, because now it all depends on you again. But that's not how it works. Those moments where you moved without hesitation, that certainty, that boldness, that quiet confidence, that wasn't you trying harder, that was trust, and you've already lived it. The problem is not that you don't have it. The problem is that you forgot where it comes from. And then there's something else, something outside of you. Rules, expectations, standards, ways things are supposed to be done. Things that tell you when you're ready, what qualifies you, what's allowed, and little by little they make you feel smaller, more careful, more restricted, until something that should be simple begins to feel impossible. Not because you can't, but because you feel like you're not supposed to. And that hesitation, that intimidation, that quiet discouragement blocks something, because you stop moving. And when you stop moving, you stop allowing. And that is where the shift is. You don't need more confidence. You don't need more certainty. And you don't need to become more capable. Because you have already had that moment where you moved without any of that. What you need is to return to that place, that trust, that willingness, not to control everything and not to figure everything out, but simply to take the step, even if it feels small, even if it feels incomplete, even if it doesn't feel perfect, because it was never meant to depend on you alone. I started this with someone in my mind. Someone I thought needed a little encouragement. But somewhere along the way, I realized it might be you.